welcome to the final council meeting ahead of the May elections to Surrey's new unitary councils. While we will be continuing to serve our residents beyond May for another 11 months, the political landscape and structures in Surrey will begin to look very different. It will be a strange year, but we are crystal clear in our role as the county administration to continue to deliver vital services and support the work of transition. It is important that all members, existing and newly elected, from whichever political persuasion, or indeed none, work together constructively for the benefit of Surrey. LGR implementation nationally as well as locally is progressing at pace and with enthusiasm from the vast majority of officers and members. What has been adversarial at times through the process has developed constructively into a joint endeavour, with all councils asked to work together to deliver the best outcome for Surrey residents. The shared communications to staff, members and residents are a great visual example of that collaboration, seeking to provide clarity and factual information to help the whole implementation programme move forward successfully. However, there remain some politicians still entrenched in seeking unnecessary division, looking to undermine the officers working hard every day, trying to disrupt the programme. How they think that can be beneficial to the residents they are elected to represent is beyond me. But their negative efforts will not be successful. This programme is moving forward and the benefits to Surrey will be delivered. A simpler system for our residents to navigate. Greater join-up of services to properly plan and more effectively deliver better outcomes. A more financially sustainable system of government with less duplication and more efficient delivery. A framework for stronger, more meaningful local engagement with structures that allow a more powerful local voice, from grassroots to strategic planning, from community engagement to lobbying government. A stronger Surrey, both east and west. It's happening. The legislation is laid and the work is underway successfully. Teams, officers and members across different councils are getting on with it. And it's time all members got on board constructively. And certain members of Parliament who have also been sniping from the sidelines should also catch up and understand the benefits that devolution from Westminster will bring to Surrey. All elected politicians, in my view, should be supporting the work of vital service delivery, improvements, reform and progress, rather than actively and destructively attempting to undermine it. Mr. Chairman, politics is politics. We know the game we're in, especially during election season. And as a council, we have always welcomed scrutiny, but some recent campaigning has crossed a line, and I'm going to call it out. A small number of Surrey's recently elected members of Parliament have crossed that line multiple times. Indeed, after numerous attempts have been made to engage with them and explain local government, including particularly sensitive issues and the complex services we deliver, they do not understand what they are preaching, nor it seems do they want to. What genuine experience do some of them have in running a large local authority or complex statutory services? They continually undermine the work of dedicated expert staff, largely from a position of naivety and ignorance, all to try and score political points. Those are not my words. Those are the views of staff up and down the country. It has an impact, a wholly negative one. This week is Social Worker Week, so perhaps it's pertinent to reflect on the impact that cheap political mudslinging has on the very people who are dedicating their working lives to helping others. And let me read the words of a member of staff in our Children's, Families and Lifelong Learning Directorate. This is not someone who is outwardly trying to defend their reputation or has political skin in the game, but someone who is just trying to do their best every day for the people of Surrey. This is their reaction to one of Surrey's very own MP's most recent attempts to undermine our service. The BBC report shared yesterday hit a nerve with me. When you pour so much of yourself into work that's fundamentally about helping people, seeing that effort reduced to a distorted narrative feels deeply unfair. It is not just bad press, it's the sense that the integrity and commitment of our team is being misrepresented. What the team do is emotionally demanding, technically complex, and often invisible to the outside world. Most people will never see the hours spent untangling difficult cases, the compassion behind tough decisions, or the sheer persistence required to get things right. So when a report leans on sensationalism or incomplete information, it can feel like a personal blow. The amount of work that went into resolving it went above and beyond. Mr. Chairman, words have consequences beyond political point scoring. Our members of Parliament should remember that when they attack our hard-working officers from behind their computer screens or with the protection of parliamentary privilege, yet again, I suggest they engage more constructively, or at least to try to understand the work that they continually seek to critique. And let it be a reminder to members in this chamber too. Some of you I know have aspirations to run a council that has statutory duties of this type in the very near future. And our workforce will not easily forget the political attacks they have been bombarded with over recent years. While you may claim that your words are not directed at officers, I'm afraid there is no avoiding the impacts of cheap politicisation of serious and complex work. With all that in mind, perhaps we should put more credence on the word of professional, independent experts in the field to which they are qualified to scrutinise and inspect. So let me remind you again of the words of Ofsted. Senior leaders' ambition for children permeates throughout the organisation, and they have successfully improved consistency of practice across all parts of the county. Children's social services are led by an impressive, highly motivated, resilient and established leadership team, whose members have been relentless and successful in their quest to improve the quality and consistency of social work practice in Surrey. Leaders' vision to ensure that children have a sense of belonging and positive experiences has been embraced across the workforce at every level. But of course, certain MPs who may never have run a council or had any exposure to, involvement with, or knowledge of complex public administration of children's services think they know better, often sniping from the sidelines. Mr. Chairman, it is not only the attack on officers and undermining of service delivery that needs calling out. We are in election season, of that I am only too well aware. But the brazen nature of willful misrepresentation being spewed and skewed by certain politicians is beyond anything I've ever witnessed before in my nearly 30 years now in politics. Lies are being propagated by many local politicians, parties and candidates, as well as certain members of Parliament. And lies do need to be called out for what they are. This willful misinterpretation serves nobody but themselves, conning our residents of Surrey into believing information that is simply false. We and our colleagues in Parliament should be beacons of trust. But seeing local politicians spout purported facts that they know are false has deeply saddened me. And I'm not surprised that trust in politics in this country is at an all-time low. Since I came into this role as leader of the council in 2018, I have genuinely tried to put party politics to one side. When you are actually responsible and accountable for the delivery of services, unlike the Liberal group over there, many of those services are frankly life or death services for our most vulnerable residents. It shouldn't matter what party you're politically aligned to. It is about dedicating yourself to delivering the best possible services within the restrictions local government face. It is about lobbying central government for more support and better policies whatever the political makeup. It is about working across political divides constructively. And it is about understanding the work that our officers do and the challenges they have to grapple with. It's about setting a shared strategic vision in collaboration with our residents and in line with our partners that is right for this place. It is about being open to scrutiny of your own decisions and constantly striving to do better. What it is should not be about is purely trying to win the next election, regardless of the impact of your words and deeds on hard-working frontline officers. It should not be about willful ignorance of the complex work we are charged to deliver just to score some political points. And it should not be about gaslighting and misleading the public to get that cross in your box in the polling booth. Every single member of this council and every member of Parliament should be better than that. I know that every day since I became leader, I have strived to do my best, even though at times my personal grief has been overwhelming. But in this role, I am accountable for the delivery of services and leading a complex organisation. Residents don't want to get caught in the crossfire of politics. They want their elected representatives to work hard to improve their lives and their livelihoods. And we would all do well to remind ourselves of that on a daily basis. But residents also know when they are being misled. So let me set the record straight on a couple of issues that have been politically skewed with misinformation and scaremongering in recent weeks. Firstly, the financial outlook from this council and the inheritance we are passing to the new unitary councils. This council has yet again set a balanced budget for the upcoming financial year. That in itself is a remarkable achievement given the scale of pressures local authorities across the country are facing. As well as setting this responsible and stable budget for next year, we are also on track to end this financial year in a balanced position with no overspend and a contribution of 20 million into reserves to support the future implementation costs of LGR. SCC has done this with no exceptional financial support from government and no use of external consultants. High and increasing demand for services, higher than inflation costs, reductions in government support, and further challenges such as reorganisation and government reforms have put unprecedented pressure on councils' budgets. But this council has managed all these challenges innovatively and responsibly to not only set and achieve a balanced budget, but to hand over an extremely strong financial position to the new authorities from April 2027. The facts speak for themselves: strong, competent, responsible financial management. In terms of borrowing and debt levels, something that has been purposefully misrepresented in campaign literature, this council's debt is serviceable and comfortably within the scope of affordable repayment costs. You cannot compare this council's absolute debt levels with that of district and boroughs due to the completely different scale of organisation. It's like comparing apples to oranges. In percentage terms, gross financing costs for Surrey County Council stands at around 6.6% of our net revenue spend, the third lowest of all 12 councils, and compared to over 700% in Woking and over 250% in Spelthorne. The borrowing and capital spend we've undertaken has been for investment in Surrey, long-term infrastructure, school places, care accommodation, much valued community projects, and investment in services to bring down ongoing revenue costs, making the council's budget more sustainable and secure long into the future. Borrowing to build the fantastic new Hope's Court School, a state-of-the-art carbon zero building that will support 200 children with additional needs. Exactly the sort of thing we should be using our residents' council tax for. And I'm very grateful to the Lord Lieutenant of Surrey, Michael Molyneux, who performed the official opening last week or so, but a role that he steps down from in September. And indeed, many congratulations to Neelam Devashire, who's been appointed by the King as his successor. Neelam is a well-known advocate for ethnic minorities in this county as chair of the Surrey Minority Ethnic Forum and indeed as a former employee of this council, and we wish her the very best. Mr. Chairman, part of that investment has been in our roads, investment over and above our paltry government funding, some £300 million committed back in 2023 through to 2028. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of roads resurfaced. Yet political attacks capitalising on winter weather would have residents believe that Surrey has been standing still. That is simply not true. More money invested than ever before, 100% more crews carrying out more repairs faster than ever. For residents trying to drive around the county, we know it's never enough. But Surrey is doing more than most areas. Our officers and contractors are working hard day in, day out. And yet there are members and parliamentarians spreading false information with no desire to be constructive. But this is not head in the sand stuff. As I've said countless times in this council chamber, we always strive to be better. We do not shirk challenges or hide away from failures. We have a culture in this organisation of learning and improvement, and our independent inspections and our financial management testify to that mindset. We meticulously report performance, and we have strong scrutiny through our select committee system. We will never stand still, and we will never ignore the severe challenges that are thrown at local government year in, year out. Not everything is perfect, but this is a strong council with a track record of success and delivering high-quality services. In our final year, we will do the work to not only continue that standard of delivery, but to hand over that legacy to East and West Surrey unitary councils. Some political actors will continue their campaign of misinformation, I have no doubt, undermining our social workers and dedicated staff. But we will stay focused and crack on with the important work that we're responsible for. Mr. Chairman, the future of Surrey is bright. Yes, there will be challenges, but we have a truly dedicated frontline staff and many councillors who really do want to make a difference, as well as an organisation with the right mindset and experience to guide this county through this period of change. Thank you.